I'd like to read from the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, starting at verse 17, out of the Amplified Bible. Let each one live the life which the Lord has assigned him, and to which God has called him. For each person is unique. Each person is accountable for his own choices and conduct. Let him walk in this way. This is the rule I make in all the churches. Each person is unique. Each person is accountable for his choices and conduct. Live the life to which God has called you. We are not accountable to any man on this earth. You are not accountable to flesh and blood. And that's just it. The conscienceless man or woman, the malignant man or woman, particularly if they happen to have provided the sperm or the womb from which you came, most of the time believe that somehow or other you are accountable to them. I believe that's how most abusers, most predators, I believe this is how most psychological predators capture their psychological prey. They put them under obligation and a false sense of accountability to them. And if you grew up in a narcissistic dynamic, a family in which you had one or two malignant narcissists controlling and manipulating the entire family, on top of this false sense of accountability to them, your uniqueness as an individual was swallowed up. You and I became part of a dysfunctional, sick commune. Uniqueness is not celebrated in the narcissistic camp. But the Word of God tells us this. We are to live the life that our Creator assigned to us, the great unseen one assigned to you. You're answerable to Him. May I put it this way? You are answerable to your conscience. This is the faculty through which the Creator communicates to us. Our conscience. This is what you're accountable to. Each one of us. I found this in the same chapter, a few verses down. Verse 21, and I speak this to, I know this is a little bit off topic, but in the church today, there's this, I don't know, we call it the prosperity gospel or whatever, in which you're not really a successful Christian unless you experience material success. Unless you marry a beautiful wife or a beautiful husband, have two beautiful children, going to the finest educational institutions, blah, blah, blah. Prosperity. What I'm about to read to you in the same chapter obliterates that. In verse 21, Paul writes, "Were you a slave when you were called? Do not worry about that, since your status as a believer is equal to that of a free-born believer. If you're able to gain your freedom, do it." I can interpret that in modern lingo. If when you turn to Christ and you're a working man, you're a blue-collar worker, don't worry about it. Be content with that. Now, if you're able to get a promotion, yeah, go for it. But don't let the prosperity types in church, I realize this is a little off topic, but it's in the same chapter, and it does apply, really. Don't feel like you're less of a man or woman if you're not making as much money as Pastor Doodad or as your neighbor. Our uniqueness comes from what we are and who we are within. All this material stuff is nothing but superficiality when you get right down to it. It's all temporary. The measure of who you are and what you are it springs forth from what's within you. And that's the part of us that the malignant narcissist has attempted to destroy, because they don't have an inner life. They don't have a sense of uniqueness. And it pisses them off when you express and demonstrate your uniqueness. It upsets them when you demonstrate that you understand or are beginning to understand that I'm really not accountable to you, mommy or daddy or sister or brother or even husband or wife or child. Ultimately, I am accountable to God, but I can equate that and say, I am accountable to my own conscience. That's who I'm answerable to. That's what I'm obligated to fulfill. The promptings of my inner compass.